So, you finished your formal education. You think school's over? Think again. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. And last time we got together, we were focusing on some thoughts by a gentleman named Nicholas Cole, who wrote a great article with whom I'm going to share and, of course, add my 2 cents about things that he brutally learned in his 20s. And I pointed out to you all that sometimes your 20s don't happen to your 30s or your 40s or your 50s. In other words, people don't learn these brutal lessons until they're ready to learn them. Simple as that. So let's pick it up where we left off with our 6th particular brutal lesson to learn, which is you are your most valuable asset. You know, yes, enjoy your 20s, but also be aware that this is the single biggest time of your life to invest in yourself. Instead of destroying your body at the bar every weekend, go to the gym. Learn something new instead of sitting at a 5-hour brunch. Study your craft before bed instead of browsing on Instagram. Take care of yourself and nurture what is most important to you. You know, I learned that lesson, but we didn't have the same distractions that you have now. We had our own distractions. What do you think? You're the first people that had distractions? Okay? Not the case. Not nearly the case. The point is, in your 20s, you're setting the stage for what's going to happen later on. You don't necessarily realize that because you're young, you're energetic, you're full of vinegar, whiz and vinegar, and you're ready to rock and roll. But this is a great learning time, and if you can find a worthy mentor in your 20s that can help you go down the yellow brick road so you don't want to stay in Munchkin land. Does that make sense? All right? It's hard to express to you, hard to explain to you, but when you find that mentor, it can really change your life. It puts you on the right road. It's critical. It's very important. So your 20s are perhaps your most important learning time because you're seeing that the stuff they taught you in school isn't all-encompassing, that there's a lot more out there than what your teacher in the 5th grade taught you. Next one. Unless you master money, money will master you. Get the cheap apartment instead of the expensive one. Cook your meals instead of always eating out. Save instead of spending. Learn about investing. Take a portion of every paycheck and put it away for retirement. Don't wait until you're in your 30s to start being money conscious. Start now. Build good habits so that your money can work for you instead of you working for money. You know what? I had that same advice when I was that age. And like most of you, I just ignored it. And you know what? You paid the price. One of the things you need to remember is kind of the story from the Bible where there's the 7 years of plenty and the 7 years of famine. So you want to store during the 7 years of plenty. There's always going to be a period of famine. Always. That's one of the things that you have to remember. That's one of the hardest lessons. I did not learn that lesson until I was in my mid-30s, when I made a job change and thought, oh, I know this, I know that, everybody's going to want me, I'm going to be able to do this, and great, I'm a great salesperson, a great manager, I know how to run this, I know how to run that. And then you find out that, you know what, even though you have these skills, you can't always connect with the right people to put you in a position where you can keep the standard of living that you've been used to. Set aside some money for yourself so that you have an emergency fund. A good rule of thumb is to set aside 6 months for yourself in an emergency fund so that if the absolute worst thing happens, you are in a position where you'll be able to survive. And always remember, there's winning. Sometimes surviving is winning until you can get to the next platform. Next thing, achievement is fleeting. That raise won't make you happy. That promotion won't make you feel fulfilled. That job switch won't change your half-hearted attitude about working in a cubicle. If you don't like what you're doing, stop. Because the next carrot will only tide you over for a moment. And then you'll be right back to feeling unhappy. Instead of chasing achievement, do what makes you genuinely happy. Now that's directly from the author Nicholas Cole. And when I read that, I was a little confused, and then I said, oh, I know what he's talking about. So many times people base their ambition upon a physical object. Once I have that car, I'll be happy. Once I have that house, I'll be happy. I got some news for you folks. That ain't the way it is. Material things only serve to be satisfying for a very short amount of time. The fulfillment is fleeting. It's so much more important what you're doing, how you're adding value to the community, to your family, to your creator, if you're so inclined. These are the things that matter in the long run. Material things. How many times have you heard about incredibly wealthy, successful people that ended up committing suicide, even when they were at the height of their success? You follow what I'm saying? You have to be excited about fulfilling an objective, and that's all about what value do you bring and contribute to the table. Next one. There's no such thing as failure. Failure is the reflection of expectation. Without expectation, failure doesn't exist. Whenever something goes wrong, it's seen as a failure, only in comparison to what you had expected it to be. There's no such thing as failure, only lessons. Learn those lessons, move forward, and realize you are better now because of it. I like to express that thought, thank you, Mr. Cole, I like to express that thought a little bit differently. There's no such thing as failure, there's only feedback. What do I mean by that? Well, in the ultimate situation, if you've been watching and listening to this channel, you know that one of the keys to being successful is having a burning desire. When you have that burning desire, you send that vibe into the universe, and you're hoping that the ultimate partner will absorb the vibe and communicate with you through the corridors, through your subconscious mind, through events you couldn't predict or plan. The universal mind wants to help us. Now, sometimes that help is like a slap given by your father or your mother. You did something wrong, you were about to put your hand on the stove where it's burning hot, and mom or dad slaps you in the hand and says, don't do that, don't do that, hot. That's the way you're going to learn. That's feedback. And of course you went and touched it and you found out, yeah, they were right. All right? But nevertheless, they gave you the feedback, don't do that. It seemed negative at the time because you got hit, but in the long run, it's positive. The universal mind acts, the universal partner acts the same way. If you're not going in the right direction, your feedback is negative, which says, yo, bro, you need to change your direction if you want to succeed, if you want to achieve that burning desire. I'm letting you know you're in the wrong direction. So be grateful that I'm giving you that direction. There's no such thing as failure. It's a lesson. It's feedback. Learn from it so that you can achieve your burning desire. You can achieve more in life. Next one. It's all about who you know. Your network is your net worth. Don't take for granted the people in your life who are connectors and can provide you access to places and people. Similarly, invest in yourself and your own network so that you too can provide that value to yourself and others. Well, that kind of sounds like the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And you know what? To some degree, there's some truth in that. However, what you know is very, very important. But when you know a lot more people, it puts you in the position to ask for advice. One of the things that people love to give you is advice. And when they're giving you advice, if they can possibly either point you in the right direction or introduce you to an influential or positive person for your particular endeavor, they will do that. Why? Because giving is taking. When you help somebody to achieve, don't you feel good about it? You know, recently, a buddy of mine was having some difficult times, with the pandemic and no work and so on and so forth. And he was reluctant to tell me about it. And so I went out with him and I said, you know what, why don't we go shopping? And we went to the grocery store and we filled up his house with food. And he was so grateful that I helped him with that. It wasn't any big whoop on my part. I mean, it was a few dollars. But when you don't have something and somebody helps you achieve it, you feel very grateful. And the look on his face and the sincere gratitude that he expressed, first of all, humbled me, and second of all, made me feel like, it's good to be a giver. I felt really good about that. And you will too. And I know you have in the past. I'm sure you've done that with other people. So the point is, who you know just broadens your possibilities, because you can ask people, do you know this guy? Do you know that guy? And you can get connected. So remember to keep track of the people and try not to burn bridges, because you never know when you want to cross over that bridge again. You determine your own success. Many people see the world through the same lens they used in school, thinking all they have to do is go through the motions, graduating from one position to the next, and then one day becoming the president or a manager and making a nice amount of dough. False. You determine your own success. You're out of school, my friend. To get where you truly want to go, it's on you and nobody else. One of the things that schools try to do, that your parents try to do, is they try to make things fair. Well, life is not fair. It's not. It's not. And the sooner that you come to that brutal realization that life is not fair, that you're going to run into a pothole that you didn't expect, or this road is going to be closed because it's flooded, or a tornado is going to come by and blow your house to Oz on some occasions, the better off you're going to be. So in terms of determining your own success, you have to own your activities. You have to own and be responsible for the things that you do and the results that you achieve, and be focused not on being busy, but on achieving results. We call that persistence. And there are some people that you know that say, I'm not going to be denied until I reach that particular milestone. And then there are some people that say, well, I gave it a try, it didn't work. You determine your own success. Stop pointing fingers at what's not fair. To be candid, life ain't fair at all. That's why we're having these videos to teach you some of the things, to help you overcome the things that they don't teach you in school, where they endeavor to keep everything fair. You must face that reality. All right, we're going to stop right here. We're going to finish up the next time we get together on brutal lessons you need to learn in your 20s, whether that's the 30s, 40s, or 50s for you. And always remember, hey, don't ration that passion, fashion that passion. I'm Eli's dad.